Good morning, Hope City. My name is Adam. I'm one of the youth leaders here, and I'm also part of the Young Adults Ministry. And for today's Daily Devo, we're going to be in Genesis 35. In this chapter, God is calling Jacob back to go to Bethel. And if you look at verses 2 and 3, it says, "So Jacob said to his household and to all who are with him, 'Put away the foreign gods that are among you, and purify yourselves, and change your garments. Then let us arise and go up to Bethel, so that I may make there an altar to the God who answers me in the day of my distress, and has been with me wherever I have gone.'" So God is calling him back to Bethel. And if you remember, Bethel is actually the spot where Jacob had his first personal dream from God. And it's not just this physical journey back to Bethel. He's saying, get rid of your foreign gods and purify yourselves. We see when Jacob and Rachel left Laban, Rachel stole her father's gods, the little idols, and you can see how that little compromise of Jacob not shutting that down right then and there has turned into him having to tell his family to get rid of the foreign gods that they've been living and compromising in the world, to remove that and to purify themselves before they go to Bethel. And then you can see another thing in verse 10. It says, "And God said to him, 'Your name is Jacob. No longer shall your name be called Jacob, but Israel shall be your name.'" So he called his name Israel. And this is interesting because in chapter 32, after Jacob wrestles with God, that is when his name was changed to Israel, but you see God still calling him Jacob initially. And that shows how Jacob was still being a deceiver, still being a heel catcher of, he's letting his family just be in the ways of the world. And it's not until this point God is like, Jacob is finally no more. You will now be called Israel, of Jacob fully going and relying on God and not just the last resort. I'm going to go to God finally. And then in the next verse, in verse 11, it says, "And God said to him, 'I am God Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall come from you, and kings shall come from your own body.'" This shows how, at the end of the day, through all the hardships and things, and Jacob being this deceiver, God is still reassuring the covenant that he gave Abraham, Isaac, now Jacob, that it's his continued promises that he will make nations out of him. And that's a great thing that we need to hold on to, that we can't hold on to things of the world to compromise, to make little compromises, because a little compromise over here can turn into a giant thing in the future. So to not be persuaded and taken away by things of the world, but to sit and rest in the peace and love and the promises that God has for us in our life. Thank you for watching today's Daily Devo, and I'll see you next time.